All right, Jeff here. We're going to introduce you to CSS. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets, and I'll show you the cascading part of it here now. And what that means is really you can put CSS in different places in kind of in the chain of execution of the page. So we can do things like we can link to an external CSS page, which is usually advisable, and it's simply just a text file with .css as the suffix, and we'll show you the formatting here in just a second. You can also put the style in a style tag in the head of the document, and you can also put the style in the style attribute of the tag itself. So what I've got here is a span tag with blue in the middle. Span, of course, is an inline tag. And what you see here is a sentence that says, that has to demonstrate the color blue. But of course, it's not blue. You don't see the span tag. If span tag is doing essentially nothing right now. What we're going to do now is we're going to go to this style sheet, this external style sheet, and we're going to introduce the style for this element. So what I'm going to do is, let's make this a little larger for you. First thing we do is we're going to affect the span tag, and you can apply styles to virtually any object inside the document. You can also so you can modify tags, you can create your own tags, your own IDs, or your own classes. I'll get into IDs and classes in just a minute, but for now we're just going to affect this span tag that's inside the HTML. So I'm just going to say, look, let's just make the color red, and then semicolon. So that's the syntax right there. That's your basic CSS syntax. And so now what I need to do is, of course, is first of all save this, and then I need to link to it from this CSS Intro HTML document. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here, and actually I'm off screen here. I've got a cheat sheet. And so I'm going to just come inside the head tags. Remember, you're inside the head, which is from here to here. Anywhere in here, I'm going to paste a link to it. And so mystyle.css, mystyle.css, they're in the same folder, so everything is good. Of course, this is the link tag, and just telling you that it's what type of, or what the relation is, and what type it is, and where it is. So I've done that. I'm going to hit save, and then I come into my HTML document. I'm going to hit refresh, and actually you have to hold. Sometimes the browser holds on to the cache, and so on the Macs what I do is I hold the Alt key down, but you need to be aware that sometimes the cache will hang on to the old style, so it's specifically bad when you work with styles. Okay, so we've got a red-blue tag, or red-blue word here, and what I want to do now is I'm going to show you, we're going to just move down the food chain here a little bit, and below the link tag, I'm going to put a style tag. And I'm going to close it. And so there's my style tag, and I'm going to just use that same syntax I had on the other page. I'm going to say span, and then I'm going to put curly braces. And I'm going to say color green. And let's say orange, just for fun. And semicolon, of course. Clean this up, make my programming look a little cleaner, my syntax look a little cleaner here. I'm going to indent that. I'm going to save this page. I don't need to adjust anything on the CSS page. Now remember, what's happening is the CSS is still saying, oh, make this red. So what's going to happen when the page executes is it's going to come down the page, it's going to go, oh, here's a link to a style sheet. Style sheet says, make anything with the span tag the color red. Okay, and so then it continues to execute and says, oh, we've got a style tag here. Anything that says span tag, make the color orange. So what's the bet? Do you think it'll be red or orange? It's going to be orange. And the reason for that is that it's cascading. It's further down the stream than the style sheet. So I can just do this. I can take this style and I can move it up. I can save this. And I'm willing to bet if I hit refresh, it goes back to red. Again, because the page is executing from top to bottom, It sees the orange tag first, then it sees the red tag in my external document, and now we're going to even throw in another style. I'm going to come into and add an attribute to this span tag called style. This is a little different syntax. I'm going to say style equals and then quotes, and then I'm going to say color blue semicolon. Save that. I'm going to come back here. I'm going to refresh. Now I've affected it. So I've actually changed the span tag 3 different times. Now it's not overriding the whole span. So you notice that I'm here in it's saying orange. I'm going to actually say, you know what? Let's make a background. You know, let's make it gray. And so I'm going to save that now. And again, refresh. My background is gray. So what's being carried forward, if I'm not changing it, it just keeps getting carried forward. So obviously I'm overriding elements of the tag, but I'm not overriding the whole tag. And then I can come back here and say, look, you know what? Look, give me some padding and say 15 pixels. I'm going to save that, and I'm going to come back here, and what you'll see is a 15 pixel pad around it. So there, of course, you can affect it with fonts, you can affect it with positioning, you can affect it with virtually any style that you can imagine you can affect it with. The next thing to keep in mind is right now I'm affecting the span tag and I'm making the color blue. So I'm going to back up. I'm going to delete some of my other styles. I'm going to delete this style. This time I'm going to come up here and I'm going to just say, look, I'll tell you what. I'm going to give it a hashtag and I'm going to say my style. Or I'm going to say my blue. How's that? And then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to say ID equals my blue. Now what's happening here is I'm actually giving it a specific element. So what I'm saying, when I say an ID, only one item on the page should have an ID that says my blue. And so what I'm going to do now is when I affect this, it will hopefully turn orange. I can have multiple tags here. So I can have multiple tags, multiple spans, and I'm going to get rid of this ID. And so if it's a regular span tag, it's going to be affected by one style, which probably is over here, and the tag that has the ID is going to be affected by this. So just for fun, I want to change this to blue, and I'm going to save this. Now with a little luck, if I refresh this, it's going to do what I asked. So here's a span that's setting it to red. Here's a span that's setting it to blue. If we come back, my blue is called out as blue, and this regular just span tag is set to red from the style sheet over here, and it's also set with this padding. So now the span is going to affect all of the spans, but then specific tags will be affected. So this blue, you notice I've got the 15 pixel border. It's still being affected by this because I'm actually affecting the tag. So there's actually 2 pieces of style working here on one tag. So I'm affecting the span with one style sheet. I'm affecting the other ID with the my blue tag, which is this. And then of course the last one is, I can say a class, which is a dot, and I can say the blues. And I can actually give the blues a class, and so the dot indicates that it's a class. And now I can have multiple items associated with a class. So I'm going to say the blues. And let's just say I'm going to want the font for the blues to be big. Let's say 20 pixels. Font dash size colon 20 pixels. Save it. and I overrode and made the change here. So an interesting thing that all of these got larger. Actually, no, this got larger, which is right, and we're in good shape. So I've affected an item with a class, with an ID, and with a tag, all in one shot. So there's lots of ways to affect different fonts. Hopefully you found this useful. Sorry you had to watch for 10 minutes, but we'll set up an assignment tonight, and you can go in and start playing with this.